Hafa and good afternoon to you and the people of Guam. This public hearing will be conducted by myself, Senator William A. Parkinson, Chairman of the Committee on Fire, Agriculture, Power and Energy Utilities, Public Transit, Unemployment Insurance, and Universal Health Care. This public hearing is called to order and the time is 2:01. For the record and to comply with the open government law, notice of this hearing was disseminated to all local media outlets on February 21st, 2023, and the second notice was also shared to all local media on February 24th, 2023. Notice of this hearing was also posted and available on the Guam Legislature's website and the Government of Guam Public Notice Portal. This afternoon, the committee will hear testimony on resolution number 14-37, relative to requesting I Maga'hagan Guahan to exercise her authority, Public Law 110-229, to petition the United States Department of Homeland Security to expand the Guam Visa Waiver Program to include the country of the Philippines, introduced by myself, Senator William A. Parkinson. I would like to welcome my colleagues who are joining us here today. We will now proceed with discussions on resolution number 14-37, which I will give my opening statement as the prime sponsor of this resolution. Federal Public Law 110-229, the Consolidated Natural Resources Act of 2008, states that the governor has the authority to petition the U.S. Department of Homeland Security to expand the Guam CNMI Visa Waiver Program to include the Philippines. It states that the Secretary of Homeland Security may waive visa requirements in the case of an alien applying for admission as a non-immigrant visitor for business or pleasure and solely for entry into and stay in Guam or the CNMI for periods not to exceed 45 days. If the Secretary of Homeland Security, after consultation with the Secretary of Interior, the Secretary of State, the Governor of Guam, and the Governor of the Commonwealth of the Northern Marianas determines that 1. An adequate arrival and departure control system has been developed in Guam and the CNMI, and such a waiver does not represent a threat to the welfare, safety, and security of the United States or its territories and commonwealths. Pursuant to the authorities granted in this federal law, Resolution 14-37 seeks to give support to Governor Luliang Guerrero in her continuing efforts for a Guam-Philippine Visa Waiver Program. In October 2022, Governor Leon Guerrero met with officials from the United States Department of State in the U.S. Embassy in Manila, as well as with officials with the Department of Defense, where she renewed efforts for a Guam-Philippine Visa Waiver Program. This resolution would lend support to that effort and affirm the legislature's continued determination for a Guam-Philippine Visa Waiver Program. GVB President Carl Gutierrez has stressed the need for a Filipino tourist visa waiver to further the economic recovery efforts from the pandemic. The Philippines is the 5th largest source of tourists for Guam, and those numbers could be greatly improved. With a burgeoning middle class and a fast-growing economy, the Philippines is poised to be a beneficial tourism market for Guam. And with many people on Guam having strong ties to the Philippines, the visa waiver would draw tourists looking to visit family on Guam. Statistics from the government of the Philippines shows that 4.3 million tourists from the Philippines travel outside of the country each year for pleasure or business. A Philippine visa waiver would bolster our own tourism recovery and encourage trade and investment from the Philippines. This would create more jobs and business opportunities for our local people. According to GVB's preliminary January visitor arrival numbers, we received 39,633 tourists from Korea in January, 4,806 tourists from Japan, and 1,192 tourists from the Philippines. With Japan's numbers slow to improve, it is important that we continue to drive growth in other markets like the Philippines to maintain our economic recovery and support our tourism industry. For the Filipino community that lives on Guam, it has been a wish that members of their family can visit them here so they can spend quality time with them, and the visa requirement has proven to be a barrier to this for so many families. My fellow Filipinos on Guam know, ang pagbisita sa pamilyang isang nagpakahalagang bahagi ng ating buhay. Spending time with family is one of the most valuable things in life. Seeing our loved ones give us the strength and perseverance to face the challenges that come our way. I've received numerous messages from people in our community who just want to show their family around the island. One person said he wanted to show his grandmother in the Philippines the house he built here on Guam and show her the love and hospitality that she showed to him growing up. Show her Ipoh Beach, where he takes his kids to play, and let his kids have memories with their great-grandmother here on Guam. I urge my colleagues to support this resolution. And now I'd like to welcome my colleagues, Senator Jesse Lujan and Senator Joanne Brown. Thank you for coming today. We will now hear testimony from those who joined us today. I will call on individuals based on how their names appear in order on the sign-in sheet. Anyone that would like to give their public testimony today? All right. Now I'll open the floor for my colleagues to ask questions or make statements if they would like. Senator Lujan?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate that, and I would love to be a co-signer, a co-sponsor for your bill as well. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you very much. You know, we've been down this road before as well, you know, and we're hoping this passes as it stands, but I know Senator Brown and I are here, ready to be able to strengthen it, should it need strengthening, you know, in regards to that. So we're here for that. We're all for a Philippine visa waiver. I forgot to say magandang hapon sa inyong lahat.
Salamat pare.
So we both, you're Filipino, I'm married to a Filipino, and I have, yeah, and no, absolutely, you know, all the testimony that you put forth in regards to the proximity to the Philippines, it's about time, it's due time. One of the things that I asked the Admiral, I know in our meeting, I think you were present at that meeting about a little over a month ago. That's right. At one point, security concerns were a great concern in regards to a waiver. But the Admiral at that time assured us, or his, not necessarily the Admiral, it was their expert, I don't know what they call them in military terms, but they were the expert. They're the ones advising the military in regards to these hotspots and all that, and said that the Philippines are no longer an area of concern in regards to terrorists, and the renewed, energized agreement between the BBM, which is Bongbong Marcos, the new president, and the government of the United States has again reactivated the closer alliance between the two countries. And that being said, again, you know, there are not a lot of military installations being erected over there with, again, big help from the U.S. military. So those are concerns in years past regarding security concerns have been laid to rest in regards to what has happened and what is currently going on now, and the closer alliance that we have with the Philippines with that. So that being said, it's long overdue for such a situation, and I know at times, because even in the very beginning, before I married my wife, we went to the U.S. Embassy, and she got a Guam-only Philippine visa waiver, a one-time shot. So people are getting, not a visa waiver, got a visa, I'm sorry, got a visa for a Guam-only visa, not necessarily outside of Guam, but they do, most especially the ones who are never or have never left the Philippines and are wanting to come to Guam. I think their initial visit to the embassy, they're given a Guam-only visa. So that being said, you know, there's precedents being set with that, and just to waive that ability, because there's stringent things that people have to go through to be able to just come to Guam with the United States. And one of course the situations is the overstay. But Guam, if you overstay, bro, I know where you're at. So anyway, that being said, it's long overdue. I know there's been legislatures in the past. I had a resolution back in the 27th Guam legislature as well regarding this that I was able to bring back then to President Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo with that. And so unfortunately it didn't go anywhere. Hopefully with this resolution, and again, if it needs strengthening, we're here to do all that. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Lujan. Senator Brown, if you'd like to give some comments.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and certainly, as Senator Lujan had mentioned, this has been a continued initiative, but, you don't make things and you don't make things happen or changes unless you take the initiative. We have many friends and family from the Philippines and also that travel back and forth for vacation, a lot for health care. A lot of our people go to the Philippines for health care. And also the opportunity, I mean, there's much to gain for Guam as well, having our neighbors in the Philippines come to Guam to shop, to spend time here in our community, and a lot of exchange, a lot of cultural similarities that we have. So there's much to gain, and Senator Lujan also touched just on the bigger world picture with what's going on in the Indo-Pacific. I mean, it's certainly much more in our interest to continue to strengthen our alliances with our allies in the region, especially because we know about the growing threats that are happening, particularly with China. So we have a lot to gain by our unified presence and engagement, and I think the opportunity to be able to travel to and from, also for our Guam residents to travel on a regular basis, as many do, and also for our Philippine neighbors to come to Guam to visit, to meet with family and friends, and certainly to enjoy our hospitality as well. We have mutual benefits to gain by this proposal in this resolution 1437. So we certainly support your initiative, and thank you for taking it. And thank you for the opportunity to comment with regards to this resolution.
Thank you, Senator Joanne Brown, and my colleague, Senator Lujan. I will make sure to do what I can to amend the resolution so we can get you guys as co-sponsor. I'd like to thank you both for your support. I think it's important to show the island that this is a bipartisan effort and not driven by any single party or ideology, because we are all one Guam. If there are no further questions or comment, this concludes our discussion on resolution number 14-37. The Committee on Fire, Agriculture, Power and Energy Utilities, Public Transit, Unemployment Insurance, and Universal Health Insurance will continue to accept written testimony in today's hearing within 10 business days from today, which will be mailed to my office at 238 Archbishop Flores Street, Suite 905 of the DNA Building in Hagåtña. You may send your written testimony to my office via email, Senator Parkinson at guamlegislature.org. Thank you all for your participation. This public hearing is adjourned, and the time is now 2:13.